friends, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 10 of my 2018 Valentine Card Series. Today I'm going to be using this stamp set from Reverse Confetti called Cured. It features these cute piggies, and I will also be using the Forever and Always 6x6 paper pad by Pebbles. I've stamped my images on Copic friendly cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm going to be coloring with my Copic markers today. For the pigs, I'm using RV00, RV02, and RV04, and I'm starting with the RV04, and I'm just laying a shadow all around the outside edge of the little piggy's face, and then I'm going to blend that out with the RV02. I am just using the two shades on the main parts of the pig's bodies, and it did take a little back and forth with those two colors to get it to blend the way that I wanted to, but this is going to be a nice bright pink that's going to match our pattern paper very nicely. I'm also adding a bit of a shadow with the RV02 around the edge of the pig's nose and blending out with the RV00. I'm coloring his ears the same as the rest of his body, so I'm adding the RV04 under the inside part of his ears where it's turned over and would have a shadow, and blend it out with the RV02. And then I'm moving down to the rest of his body. When you have larger images like these, it's a good idea to work in sections so that the alcohol ink doesn't have time to dry into the paper. Now today I was having the opposite problem because these markers are fairly new and that RV02 is a little bit overfilled, I would say. So I did take off the other cap so that it would kind of equalize the fluid inside. And then I'm going to color the other pig just exactly the same, and we can move on to our other images. For the water trough, I'll be using the C1, C3, and C5. And while I have that C5 out, I'm also going to color in the little pig's hooves. And then I can go to my water trough. I'm going to color as if my light source is coming from the center. So I'm going to put my shadows on either side, just like I did my pigs. So I'm coming in with that C5 from the outer edge, and I'm also going to color in the feet with that color since it's underneath and would have the most shadow. And then I'm going to blend towards the center with that C3 and finish up with the C1. And that highlight in the center is going to give it that metallic look. For the heart banner, I'll be using R29 and R39. I'm adding just a little bit of a shadow with the R39, and then I'll just fill in the rest of the hearts with the R29, and that will give me a nice bright pop of red on the card. I'll use G03 and G05 for the grass, just adding a little bit of that G05 and then blending out with the G03. And then for the fence post, I'm using E51, E53, and E55. And keeping the light source all the same, I'm going to shade with that E55 on the outside edge of each of those boards, also with the pieces that are crossing in the center. I'm going to blend out with the E53, just bringing that color in a little bit further on each of those again, and then I will finish up with the E51. And I do typically determine the way that I'm going to do my light source based on the direction that the main critters are facing. So since they're facing forward, that's why the highlight is in the center. Now that my pigs are dry, I wanted to add a few little spots, so I'm using the E53 and the E55 to do that. I'm just laying in the E55 first so that it has kind of a shadow on the outside edge to match the rest of the coloring, and then blending out a bit with the E53. So I put one on the back and one on the ear, and now I'm doing one on the top of the head of this piggy on the left, and then I'll mix it up and do something a little bit different for the one on the right. And I actually did color 2 sets of these images, so I'll be making 2 cards today. So I did each of the pigs just a little bit different. These spots are what's going to tie our sentiment into our card today, and it also just gives them each a little bit more individuality, a little more personality and character. So I think it's just something a little unexpected and fun. So there's a closer look at these guys, and I'll bring in the other sheet as well. For my focal panel, I'm using the MFT Wonky Stitch Rectangle as well as the Lawn Fawn Stitch Hillside Borders. The sky is made from MFT's Snow Cone cardstock, and the mud is Gina K Designs Craft cardstock. So I'll just glue the craft piece onto the background with some Tombow Mono Multi Glue. And now I can begin to set my scene. I'm going to adhere the fence right to the top of this hill here, and even though it's not touching on the right side, it's not going to matter in the end. It's going to get covered up and you won't even be able to tell. So I'm adding this little pig over on the left hand side, and then the feeding trough or water trough is going to go in the center, and then the other little pig will go on the left hand side. He had something on his nose, so I just brushed it off. And he's going to cover up the bottom of that fence post so you can't even tell anymore that it wasn't touching. I'll add a dot of glue to the back of each of the little heart banners, and then that is going to go on the feeding trough. And then I'll add a dab of glue right above that muddy hillside on each end of the card, and I'm going to tuck my grass right behind that edge. So now I've got both focal panels assembled. I'm going to use my Misty to stamp my sentiment, and I'm doing that in Lawn Fawn Merman ink, and I'm using the sentiment from the Reverse Confetti Heart Spots stamp set, and it says, "You hold a spot in my heart," and I stamped that twice to get a really good impression. While I have my Misty out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside of my card, and for that I switched to Lawn Fawn's Bubblegum ink, and I'm stamping one of the pigs and a sentiment from the Cured stamp set and the little trio of hearts from the Heart Spot stamp set. I'm going to take my pattern papers and adhere this gingham print down flat to the card base, which is a piece of MFT's Pink Lemonade cardstock scored and folded to a standard A2 size card. So it is 4 1/4 tall by 5 1/2 wide. I'll take this floral print that is trimmed down to 4 inches by 2 inches tall. So I have a little bit of that pink gingham on either side. And then I have this aqua polka dot that I have trimmed into a banner end, and I'm going to layer that right over top. And then I can grab my focal panel and I'll add a little bit more liquid glue to the back of that, and then I can just center that right on the card front. Once I'm happy with that placement, I can just press that down firmly. And the top left corner of that focal panel was looking a little empty to me, so I grabbed one of the 2 Cloud 9 dies from MFT, and I'm just going to add a little cloud to the sky on the left hand side. And that is going to complete our cards for today. There's another peek at the inside, and I'll hold the other one up to the screen so you can see how that version turned out. And let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. And this is going to conclude my 2018 Valentine Card Series. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did, and you can always subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already, or click the notification bell if you want to make sure that my videos always end up in your feed. Here's 2 extra videos from previous years of Valentine Card Series, so hopefully those will inspire you until the next video. Until then, I hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye!